Welcome to Conversations with Character. I am here with Isaac Chacon. I probably said that wrong. I don't know. But this guy is a content creator making content about spiritualism and veganism and just general well-being in a deeper, a deeper understanding than anybody else I've seen. I can't wait to hear about his background, man. Tell us about yourself. Let's start with, how old are you? Where are you from?
Hey, man, I really appreciate that. And thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for the invitation. And thank you to everyone who's watching this right now. Going to be brief but effective. I am 33 right now. Currently live in Tempe, Arizona, from Fort Collins, Colorado. You know, kind of a small town, that place. I've always had the idea, though, of don't stay in the town that you grew up in, go explore the world. I got sagged in the midheaven, so that makes a lot of sense, traveling. And that being said, after I visited Phoenix a lot growing up. My family came here. My dad has his brother and sister here, so we would come and see my cousins often, from Colorado to Phoenix. And then, at like 21, I moved here. Been here on and off the last 12 years, probably been here about 6 of the last 12 years. I've been in Puerto Rico, I've been in California, Texas, Florida, all over the place. I'm well traveled. I have I'm very analytical, athletic. I enjoy exercise, I enjoy movement. I played football. I was an arena football quarterback. And quickly realized it wasn't worth almost dying on that field for a small check. And then, kind of dedicated my life towards wisdom. And then had a very spiritual experience around 25, stopped making the dollar bill my number one pursuit of life, and wanted to find spiritual truth. After that experience, around 30, I started around 28, I started to find spiritual truth. I went through the whole Christian route, started in church, bounced around every church. I was reading that Bible more than any pastor up there was teaching it.
Yep.
So I, eventually found myself in a Hebrew roots church out in Puerto Rico, where I was studying the Hebrew writings of the Bible.
Wow.
Being translated in Spanish and then being translated to me through some friends. My friend's dad was a pastor. Spent a few years there, fell in love with the island, fell in love with that culture as well as the really tribal side of my lineage. My dad is Native American and Spaniard, but all of that side of my culture was hidden from me my entire life. To be honest, most of my family's quite whitewashed. I love them, but that side of our culture was not respected or given any recognition throughout my life. So it's something I desired to understand naturally. I'm an analytical person, so after coming to these truths, I wanted to embody them as well as, when asked, share them, not share them unsolicitedly, but when asked. Yeah, there's a form of making content that, is unsolicited advice, for sure. But the one who tells the story the most wins. And the reason that most people think that they have to live off of flesh, think that they have to live a materialistic life, think that, top G is what being a male is because they're being programmed that from every avenue and every corner at all times. And so, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah. I think
I desire to sound out the masses with my content, or the bullshit with my content is what I mean.
For sure.
And not unsolicitedly, but because someone did the same thing and it sparked interest in my mind. And so if I can do likewise, I'd like to.
No doubt, man. You can totally tell you're a podcaster because that was structured so well. You told that so that was you. You got it in you, bro.
Thank you.
You know, I thought it was interesting that I figured you came from like a childhood of spiritualism and things like that.
It was a Christian upbringing, but it was forced on me. I enjoyed the actual like spiritual side of it, not the forced side of it, not the religious side of it. And so when it was free as a kid, that's when it was fun. But when it was religious as an adult, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I need to figure this out. What's wrong with this?
Absolutely, bro. And I know exactly what you're talking about, reading the Bible more than the pastor and everything. Like, I had a very similar experience at around the same age. You know, I grew up Christian, kind of fell out of it, and then went back to it. And really, I deep dove into it. And then I started learning some truths about the Bible and the origins of the Bible and so many things like that are related to that I grew up in the church and I never heard where the Bible came from. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And it takes 10 minutes of research to find.
That's because, these guys aren't here to lead you to truth.
Yeah.
That's not what their purpose is. The guys in the actual churches currently.
Right. What do you think our motivation is?
Well, it's their pockets.
Yeah.
That's why they have a 501c3. Because they skip taxes. It's all about padding their pockets, man.
Yep.
As well as misleading as well, So, half-truths to where you will be misled, contrary to empowered, because these are weak leaders. They're weak. They're not even leaders. They're just weak and afraid. Because if they were fearless, they would empower people. But because they don't empower people, you can tell they're afraid of empowered people.
Absolutely.
That's why you can tell they're weak.
What was that spiritual experience that you had at 25?
I had quite a bit of LSD.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I had quite a bit of LSD at 25. Some mushroom experiences as well. Certain conversations that I had with different people, and, it just really opened my mind to... It was about a 6-month time frame that was just very, very spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you had this, been on the Instagram hustle, on the social media hustle with this stuff?
So I've been a networker, actually. I've been in the industry of network marketing since 21. I made a good amount of money in my early 20s with a company called Vima. I don't know if you know this guy. There's this one guy who used to be my best friend, Alex Morton. I used to live with him. He and I used to be homies. And, then when I had that spiritual experience, I kind of went the spiritual route, and, I kind of just went that route.
Yeah.
And, so within the networking space is really how I got connected with a lot of people in business and in spirituality, and yeah.
Tell me about
for my connections.
Tell me about Santos. How did you meet him? Who is he?
Yeah, so Santos was looking pretty unhealthy around 1.5 years ago. And I saw him on a live, and I was blowing him up during that live. And got his attention via comments. And I was like, look, man, you're unhealthy right now. You need the Power Shake, which was that green drink I just had, and you need Super Amino 23. I could tell that he was, number one, anemic, and number two, in a catabolic state. His body was eating its own muscle mass. And that's what cathode, right? It's breaking down.
How could you tell that?
What?
How could you tell that?
Because he was frail, he was tiny. And I could tell that because it takes one to know one. I've felt it, I've been there. I've been, amino acid deficient. I've been catabolic, I've been tiny as fuck, frail, tiny vegan. I've been really, really unhealthy vegan before, and I've been where I feel great right now. And different superfoods played a big part of that. So It was superfoods first that got me connected. And I was like, look, man, you need to try this stuff. Send me your address. So he sent me his address and I sent him product. Eventually, after he fell in love with the product, he and I got closer and he started teaching me some astrology, you know, and then he was on a product for a year before ever talking about it. Because he got product the month that he took that YouTube hiatus. When that dude started talking about, you know, him defending himself and that other guy passing away because of that, and, you know, calling him a murderer and all this extra shit. And, you know, Santos took a hiatus on YouTube for a while. And so he was, you know, not talking about Purium or anything for a year, kind of finding himself and rebuilding his health. And then after getting some demons out of his system, some parasites that he had, which was the real big problem as to why he was so unhealthy. That's what the real big problem as to why everyone's unhealthy. And yeah, so it was the health that turned Santos back on, and it was Purium that did that. It was the super amino 23s, these pre-digested, these pre-digested vegan protein pills.
Okay.
They go straight to the working muscle in 23 minutes.
Wow.
And it's the most digestible protein on the planet. The thing is, you could have a steak that's 25 grams of protein, 50 grams of protein. You'll digest 10 of those 50 grams. Why? Because you only digest about 25% of the protein that you ingest. The rest is waste. So, you know, these people who are having a protein shake of whey protein, 75% of that is turning into sugar in the colon. So it's asking for, like, cancer. Number one. Number two, you know, most protein is not being assimilated. So anyways, this is the master amino acid pattern. We're able to sell it under the name Super Amino 23. Got it into Santos' hands. It really, you know, kind of, like, it added a lot of value to Santos' life. He'll tell you, man, you know, he'll take 15, 20 a day sometimes.
Wow.
I'll take 15, 20 a day. You're supposed to take 5 minimum, right? But I train too. I work out, you know, so I'm breaking my muscle tissues down, and these fuckers build them back up better than anything I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow. Now,
and recovery has always been a problem for me. Always. I've always struggled with recovery more than all my friends. Always. I always thought it was a protein, electrolyte, you know, all these different issues, right? Nothing helps me recover better than these puppies.
Wow.
What are you gonna say?
Wait, you said we are able to sell it under that name.
Purium, the name, the company Purium.
Okay. Do you work with them?
Santos and I are both affiliates of that company.
Okay.
As you'll see, both Santos and I website, you know, we just represent, like, all these different things that we consume every day, right? Because we should get paid for a living. That's what life should be.
Absolutely, bro.
And that's the Aquarian economy, is where, you know, you're getting paid based on what you are consuming and sharing. Not for how many hours you work.
How long have you been vegan?
So I went vegan 2017, the year Dr. Sebi passed away. He passed away on my birthday as well. Yeah.
Wow. What made you take that leap?
At the time, I had a really hot vegan girlfriend. I had some, you know, really close friends of mine who were turning vegan at the same time frame. They've since fell off, but I've stayed with it, you know, too. And I'm, you know, we're all different. You know, my nature is different than theirs. I'm very fixed in my nature, and it's just kind of how I operate.
How long did it take you to learn everything you've learned about how to be a healthy vegan? Like you said,
I'm still learning, bro.
Yeah.
You know, learning every day.
For sure.
And, you know, I wasn't really getting it, though, for the first 3 years. I wasn't really getting it. 2017 and 2020, I wasn't really getting it. I was kind of getting it 2017, but that was just my cleansing state. of standard American diet. And then once it was, only vegan food I was having, I was having a lot of processed vegan bullshit, Beyond Burgers, Just Egg, fucking living off of Bill Gates, Frankenfood. I didn't know any better. I didn't understand the concept of organic. I didn't understand pesticides. I didn't understand parasites. I was scared of doing a parasite cleanse. I was afraid of seeing these fucking little worms swimming out my butt. I mean, I'm being honest, because these are what most people are afraid of in doing these things.
Yeah. Does it cost more to be vegan?
Definitely not. No, it's actually less expensive. Also, health is wealth. You're not going to feel like $1 million on the dollar menu.
No.
I don't care what menu it is. Even if it's a vegan dollar menu. You want to be investing into your health because it is a gift. And if you don't protect that gift, you will lose it.
Absolutely. Do you have like a regular job?
No.
So okay, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. How long has it taken you to live the, what'd you call it, Aquarian?
Well, I've been a brand ambassador, bro, on and off, since I was 21. I'm 33 now. How many, the different amount of times that I've had true momentum to be able to, not do anything else. I don't know, it's probably been 6, 7, 8 times with different companies.
12 years ago was a different world for brand ambassadors. How did you get into it?
Well, my running back gave me a sample of coffee. It was called Organo Gold with Holton Bugs. I don't know if you know who that is. You should look this guy up. He's probably the best network marketer in the world. He's a Libra. Fucking talented. They used to call him the Michael Jordan of network marketing. He used to make like over $1 million a month within his distribution. Anyways, my running back gave me a sample of coffee. He and I were both injured. We wanted to make money and not get concussions and die.
Yeah.
So I, started to make a little bit of money, and I was good at selling stuff. I'm social. I'm naturally good at recruiting and things like that. I was a big recruit for all my football teams. A recruiter, for all my football teams.
Sure.
I recruited most of my linemen and receivers and shit like that.
Wow.
Well, I didn't want to die. I'd like good linemen. Yeah.
You posted one video the other day, and it was like, you'd have to explain it better, but it was about, this is not a good day for certain signs to ejaculate. And tell me about like what that is and how that affects your lifestyle.
Sure, it should affect everyone's lifestyle. When the moon stimulates blood. Wherever it is in your body, it's going to stimulate the blood in that body. If the moon's in Pisces, you're going to feel it in your feet. If the moon's in Capricorn, you're going to feel it in your knees. If the moon is in Leo, you're going to feel it in your heart. If the moon's in Aries, you're going to feel it in your head. You're going to feel a lot of blood rushing up there. Well, when the moon is in whatever sun sign you were born under, I was born under Leo. There's a secretion that's secreted once a month, every month, when the moon's in that sun sign. Now this happens 13 times a year, but the most important time is when the moon is full. That's the true sacred secretion. They're all sacred secretions, but this is the most sacred secretion. The most sacred secretion. Why? Because it's when the moon's full. It has the most energy behind it. It has the most light. So when the moon is full during your sun sign, what's your sun sign?
Aries.
Yeah. In Libra, it's going to be a full moon in September. Because it's always full in its opposite sign.
How do you know that?
you learn the structure of the heavens. It's real simple. It's real simple, you know. It's just the way it's set up. It's just the way it is, you know. I didn't, you know. It just is.
Man, I mean, and you said you really just started getting into astrology and things when you met Santos, right?
No, it was I found astrology in the Bible first through different people. Santos was one of the first 5, maybe 10 videos I seen talking about astrotheology, but like honestly, Santos's language really turned me off at first. I'm very I try to not come across aggressive. His martial language really turned me off at first. I did not like Santos for about 5 years, actually.
Wow.
I didn't like him. I became okay. I could get myself to listen to Santos in 2022. And that's when I just went fucking gung-ho. About 8 months of studying, because I knew astrology was real, and then I was like, okay, now I have to explain flat earth astrology. This guy's the best at it. I have to figure it out.
Explain that. Flat earth astrology, what do you mean?
Well, it's just, you know, that's what astrology is, though. Astrology is geocentric. You know, not heliocentric. Helios is the sun. Center is around it, right? So it's geo, Earth, centric. It's the center. Earth is the center of astrology. It's geocentric. That's what astrology is. All astrology is geocentric. You can ask anyone, any true astrologer, is astrology helio or geocentric? They'll tell you geo. They know it. If they lie to you, they're stupid. Because they have to read every chart that they read from a geocentric chart. Otherwise, it won't make sense. It'll make sense on a heliocentric chart, but it doesn't really make sense. And yeah, the Earth is just flat.
You believe the Earth is flat?
Yeah, definitely.
Really? Okay, man. And you understand all that about astrology. I'm surprised to hear that.
You don't know that Santos is a flat earther?
I didn't.
Oh, really? Uh-huh. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, your aura is not an aura, it's a Torah. It's a Taurus field. So your aura, the aura that you have around you, is just shortened from the word Torah, Taurus. And every single Taurus is an atom. All atoms are Taurus fields. Within every single Taurus field is a flat plane of inertia in the middle. That's where life exists. The torus around it is protecting the life on the flat plane of inertia. That's what the torus around it is. It's a shield. So we're not on a ball, we're in a ball.
How does it work though?
On a flat plane of inertia, because all the stars spin, rotate above us circularly. They rotate above us. They don't spin around us. Polaris doesn't move. Every single planet rotates counterclockwise around Polaris. That's the North Star. It doesn't move ever. And so because it doesn't move, and our stars don't move, and we've had the same stars forever, we've never had new constellations, you know that we're not moving. You know that we're not spinning. Because if we were spinning, we'd have new constellations, number one. Number two, Polaris would not be there anymore. Number three, you'd feel like you're spinning. You don't feel like you're spinning. The moon landing was shot in a studio because American politics are greedy.
I believe that.
Yeah, we never went to the moon.
No.
Space travel's impossible. Not the way that we think that it is. You can probably travel more so probably through water, but not out. More maybe like down through the water and then out. But I haven't figured all that out yet.
How does, satellites orbiting Earth?
They're not.
What do you mean?
They're fake balloons. Look it up. Satelloons. There's so much evidence out there of satelloons. Anybody watching this podcast right now can look up satelloons and you'll see true satellites don't exist. Satellites don't really exist. Satelloons exist. Satellites are not how you're getting a phone signal. It's a fucking cord that's under the ocean. All phone signals are through a cord in the ocean. Anybody can look this up.
The internet as well, is not.
Huh?
The internet is not dependent on satellites in space.
No. It's all.
It's all on the phone cord.
These cords.
Huh. I'm definitely gonna look into that, bro.
Yeah.
I've never heard that information. That's interesting.
100%.
That's crazy, man. That's wild.
Well, it's all the globalist agenda, dude. Elon Musk, right? He's trying to go to space. Supposedly, is what he says. But he's also trying to put a fucking chip in your brain.
Yeah.
And control your thoughts. This is a globalist agenda. This is, global. Bull. It's bullshit. It's global bullshit. They're not stewards. The L-ites worship L. The elites worship L. L is Saturn, Satan. Isis is the moon, Ra is the sun, L is Saturn. Israel, Isis, Ra, and L. Israel. L is Saturn. So the L-ites worship Saturn, Satan.
Are the other planets flat?
They're all lights. They're not balls. They're all luminous bodies.
Why?
They're more than likely toroidal luminous bodies. Of course. Everything's a torus field, but not or made up of toroidal luminous bodies, but they themselves cannot be landed on.
So the Mars expedition, everything, that's all produced.
That's in Iceland, Canada. All that shit's happening up in Canada. Probably even some of it down here in Arizona. There's a lot of that freaky type looking land out over here. Arizona's very otherworldly. Very otherworldly. There's a reason this was the old Egypt, Arizona.
What? I'm sorry. What do you mean the old Egypt?
Yeah, the original Egypt was here. Tamari was the original Egypt. You can find articles from the 1920s in the Smithsonian that are now held by the Smithsonian, where they found Egyptian artifacts in tombs and temples all over the Grand Canyon. Egyptian stuff, but it's not Egyptian, it's really Atlantean, because Atlantis was the dynasty before Egypt, and you know this because Thoth said it was. And Thoth over here was just called Quetzalcoatl or Enoch. Same person, different time frames, different names. Anybody who reads the Emerald Tablets can put this together. Thoth is Enoch, is Quetzalcoatl, Buddha. Jehuti, Yoda. Same thing. The personification, the story of Yoda, is made about Thoth. With all these little Jedis that he's teaching how to master the Force. Yeah, of course, that's Yoda. That's Thoth.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Thoth. And of course, he's a little green guy. Thoth is a little green guy. I mean, these pictures. These are. He probably wasn't really a little green guy, but what he was.
Do you believe the Nephilim? Do you believe in the Nephilim? The Nephilim were here?
There's probably something like that, yeah. I mean, I've seen pictures of giant. You know, I've seen skeletons of giants myself. Red-headed, big-ass giants over in Utah in a cave.
You saw them in person?
Yeah, I saw the hair still attached to them and everything. Yeah, near Moab. There's a lot of wild shit in Utah, bro, because the Toltecs went north when the Europeans came here and the Spaniards came here. And so the Toltecs came back here and they said that they would, because they said that that's where their home was, is Aslan. And so this is what the same Aslan that's written about in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Where was that?
All here in Arizona. But it's really like the 4 states that used to be Utah. It's really those 4 states, and that's Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Those 4 states used to be one state, one land called Utah. So that's where Judah was. And this is why the Mormons know that the true land of Judah is in Utah. The Mormons know that.
Wow, bro.
Joseph Smith, he was on to some shit for sure.
I mean, you've been studying this information for, what, about 8 years now?
Well, you know, I just had it, like I said, man, you know, hidden from me. So I, you know, had a desire to want to know who the hell my family, where we're from, why I have all these desires to want to figure it out. You know, it's just in me, right? So I just wanted to figure it out.
In your opinion, like,
when you got Mercury and Virgo, anyone with Mercury and Virgo, they're going to be a very analytical person. Anybody. So Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Mercury is how you think and communicate. It's at home and exalted in Virgo. It's domiciled and exalted in Virgo. It's domiciled in Gemini, but it's domiciled in Gemini, but not exalted there. It's also exalted in Virgo. So anybody with Mercury and Virgo is going to be a very analytical person, and I would keep those kind of people around because they're going to see stuff that most people won't see. And that's okay, you know? Because everyone has their gifts. This is why astrology is important, because then you know your gifts, you know how to play to them. Otherwise, you're a slave to your weaknesses most of the time.
If someone wants to learn all this, what are your trusted sources? Where would you recommend they go?
Multiple, you know, not just one source, you know, like I've read this book, the only astrology book you'll ever need. I thought that was the only astrology book I'd ever need, but it wasn't, you know, I've read that book. There, you know, so many astrology books, study guys like Santos. I watch the astrology podcast. Sometimes I watch other astrologers. I don't listen to most astrologers though, because if they're not pure up here with their actions, their understanding of morality is not going to be the same as mine. And I mean, like, how much they're taking and like if they're drunks or not, and you know, shit like that. A lot of drunk astrologers out there. You eat like shit and they're just drunks and they're just, you know, and you know, Santos will be real as fuck with you about this, that like an astrologer is supposed to be one of the purest people on the planet. You're supposed to be a vegan. You 100% have to be a vegan. No flesh is allowed to be in your temple. Not charge too much for your readings. Be available. Be very wise. Be pious. Humble. Serve people. That's what an astrologer is supposed to do. But a pastor is the opposite, because the word astro is in the word pastor, but they're not reading the astros. They're demonizing the astros. They're demonizing heaven, so they're demons. They are demons. Not really, but they're controlled by demons. Internally, they're a good soul, but they don't know that they have a demonic spirit running their life that's blocking them from truly empowering people, which is the heavens. And if any actual pastor actually read their Bible, they'd see Genesis 1:14, sun and moon are made for signs and seasons. Job 38:32. What's the Mazzaroth? It's the zodiac. If you don't know these things, Job, you should probably shut up and humble yourself. I'm God. That's basically what Job is saying. And, you know, the thing is like, an astrologer should, or someone who's desiring to live a pure lifestyle should, very simple, take only what you need, leave the rest. And learning how to do that is a lifestyle, not something that you do or master anytime. It's something that you just do. That is being. You never arrive. If you ever think you arrived, you're fucking not there yet. And you'll never get there.
Did you mention before you have a time limit? Is there a certain time you have to end this?
I do have about 20 more minutes.
Okay. All right, no problem. We'll wrap it up here soon. But
Sure.
What are some of the most common misconceptions about vegans and veganism?
That you can't get your protein. Already handled that. 99% pre-digested vegan protein, straight to the working muscles in 23 minutes. Look up the master amino pattern. Anybody can look this up. It's administered to patients who have dialysis in hospitals. This pattern, this master amino pattern, Purium, my company that I'm an affiliate for, is able to sell this pattern under the name Super Amino 23. If you have an amino acid deficiency and you're someone who's plant-based considering going back to eating meat, try that before you do it. iShopPurium.com. My code is VIBETRIBE. Anybody that wants to do so.
That's dope.
Yeah. So, you know, that's the number one misconception. Number two, plants are poisonous and trying to kill you. People are just backwards with their, you know, they're so programmed, dude. Which I get it, because all they fucking do is watch TV, scroll, whatever. But nature tells us, the garden, you know, sow a seed, reap the harvest, live off of that harvest. So it's in all things in life, though. That is applicable to everything, because that's what we're here to learn, is karma. And going vegan is the height of that. Why? Because you are literally getting it physically, and you're starting to apply that to your own fuel to even function. Taking only what you need, leaving the rest. But it comes with work of sowing the seed, protecting, loving that seed. Protecting and loving that seed are very important. It's work.
Yeah.
And not digging that seed up 30 days from now, 60 days from now, being like, where the fuck's my harvest? You gotta be consistent with where the seed is at. The thing is humanity only ever got into flesh eating when it got out of God's clock. When it got out of God's clock, it didn't have food stored up anymore. We weren't sowing on time. We weren't harvesting on time. We didn't have food stored up. And so then eventually, what happens when you're running late? You start doing shit that you wouldn't normally do. Cutting people off, more, just fucking whatever. You gotta get there. Otherwise, boss is gonna kill you, and then what?
Right.
You don't have any money. How you gonna live? Well, this is how humanity started eating meat.
What do you mean by God's clock?
Well, God, that's astrology. You sow in the spring.
Okay.
Protect in the summer, harvest in the fall. That's what Virgo represents. Virgo is the harvest. That's why they're analytical, because they harvest the data.
Do you believe in global warming?
No.
Where is that misconception
not in
coming
the way that we're being programmed to believe it. It may be warming up in different ways, but that's more so weather modification as well as season changing, not... No. The more trees you plant, the better. Because then these trees are emitting more oxygen. All this CO2 junk is just all about control. You know, you'll own nothing and be happy, right? Klaus Schwab, that's what his deal is. Well, global warming is part of that. Because you can't have free people that know that God is the weather, so you got to try and control God.
That's crazy to think about it like that.
Well, the Egyptians used to call the forces of God, these are the forces of God, Netarus.
Like nature.
Chemics.
Yeah.
The chemetics. They called them Netarus. Why? Because they're the forces of nature.
Wow. I saw in one of your other videos that they used to call vegetarians Pythagoreans.
Yeah, Santos put me onto that. I didn't even know that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I researched that after you said it. It's there. It's true.
Yeah. Because this why you've come to the conclusion that you do not need to take life for you to exist. This is literally like by scientific trial and error. What is science, right? You're experimenting what works and doesn't work.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yep.
Going vegan, realizing that you can function on plants and fungi and fruit, is recognizing and trying and finding out that you don't have to take life to live. Whereas, the one who tells the story the most wins. And so, most humans are just programmed to think that that's what they have to do. Burger King, McDonald's, whatever. If you look up the blood experiment with the gorillas, these gorillas were fed a little bit of blood on their fruit for 2 weeks. And then eventually these gorillas wanted meat, not fruit. And they were full-on carnivores. Why? They were programmed to do so. Gorillas are not carnivores, naturally.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't be programmed into one. Look, can I survive and go eat meat? Fuck yeah, I can. Let's say, whatever. Let's say whatever, right? It happens, whatever it is, and it's time to, and I don't have my own food and I'm growing, I'm growing or whatever, right? And I gotta survive. Will I, is it possible? Absolutely, I can. But the thing is in today's society, you don't have to. And that's the thing about this proverb is take only what you need, leave the rest.
No doubt, bro. No doubt, man. Before we wrap it up, most people are so far from the level of health and understanding that you are. I mean, I'm an example of it. I'm nowhere near what you're doing. What would be advice that you would have for people who are interested in taking some steps to living this lifestyle that you do?
Cleanse the colon first. Get rid of undigested waste that is in your digestive system. It's a very simple process, guys. When you cook food, there's an enzyme on that food that is killed, that your body was waiting for to synergistically work together with that enzyme to then process that food to the correct place it needed that food to go to, those nutrients. Well, now those enzymes are dead. Well, now your body has to work 3 times harder to try and assimilate those nutrients where they need to go. Well, it probably got about 20 to 30% of the nutrition there because the rest was cooked. Well, then the rest is undigested.
Wow.
Most people will have 20 to 30 pounds. Even slim people have 20 to 30 pounds of unprocessed waste in their colon, and they need to get it out. So I would start there. Address the colon's parasites, pesticides, and heavy metals. I would do the ultimate lifestyle transformation with Purium if you are in the United States, Canada, or Europe. They're all on my website, vibetribe.com, or you can go to their website, ishopapurium.com, use code VibeTribe. For Europe, it's platinumeurope.biz/VibeTribe. Get the 10-day transformation berry cleanse there. 10-day transformation berry cleanse there. In the United States, it's the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. 2 different names, same company, same products, guys. And what that's going to do is give your body a break from processed foods. It's going to break your addiction to processed foods, which aren't serving you any good at all right now. It's going to detoxify heavy metals that are throwing off your endocrine system, giving you brain fog, stealing your energy, putting you into a static frequency, etc., etc. It's going to get rid of parasites that are also stealing your nutrients and driving your cravings to things that don't serve your highest good, as well as pesticides that have been sprayed on all the inorganic food you've had your entire life. Yeah. So you get rid of parasites, pesticides, heavy metals, then nourish with all organic raw superfoods. It's an entire protocol, right? So that's the ultimate lifestyle transformation. That's going to cleanse your gut, nourish at the same time. If you want to add on top of that, I would add fulvic zeolites, because the fulvic zeolites is going to help pull out more amino acids or more heavy metals. If you want to nourish more on top of that, I would add shilajit, pine pollen, and sea moss. All of these things invest as much as you have the ability to. I invest into all of these things because they give me life force. Nothing gives me more life force in my day than pine pollen, than super amino 23, than shilajit, than sea moss. But those things give me fucking piranha to fucking go and dominate my day. Otherwise, life can just seem like it's happening to us with all these frequencies around us, all this radiation, all the bad food, etc., stress, Look, guys, every single male in the world right now should see what's taking place in the world right now and have this fucking clock going off in his head to get in the fucking best shape of his life.
You're not wrong.
Men, for all of you watching this, if you don't have that clock going off in your head right now, you are not in tune with reality, dude.
Yeah.
Socrates said, it is a shame for a man to grow old and not find the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Find that out. That is part of turning your potential that you've been given into performance. Otherwise, squander your potential. Well, let life happen. Be an extra in your movie. Sure. Fine. You want to keep coming back here until you figure it out? All right, go ahead. Yeah. Because that's what happens. You figure it out and ascend. You after fully embodying, who you are, or, you repeat. So it's wait, all of life works, evolution or repeat.
Well, absolutely, man. Yo, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing everything that you did. This has been an awesome conversation with character. Follow Isaac Chacon up, hit him up, listen to this guy's advice. He's trying to help people live a healthier life. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
The most prestigious network in the land, the Signature Series Network.